Hey guys, it's the Urban Investor here, back with another video, and today we are looking at part 2 of my top 10 coins to buy on the altcoin dip, which is imminent in my opinion. Now I will link part 1 in the description, so do check that out if you haven't already. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So first on my list is Lunia. Now what is Lunia? Lunia is basically the Wikipedia of the blockchain. So putting it simply, it's an Ethereum based coin or token rather, which offers users rewards and incentives to basically verify content and validate information that's being posted. So it's exactly what Wikipedia is, although it's providing more of an incentive to put content up and also review it. So as always, do further research. I'm just going to briefly look at the TA and not really go into vast amounts of detail in terms of these coins. So definitely check it out and find out for yourselves whether you want to invest in these coins. Now we've got Lunia up here. I've got the last few months, and as always we can see a bull run. Essentially we can see recently we've had a nice massive run. If we look at the technical indicators, we're extended at the minute. The RSI also says overbought. However, as I'm saying, we're expecting, or I'm expecting, a cool down in terms of my opinion. So this isn't the time to buy right now. I believe this large rise is as a result of I think the beta being launched, so you can actually go and test their process out in terms of how it works, put up content and see how the interface works. So definitely check that out if you want to test the product. So that's the rise in price. However, I don't think it's going to last forever, and eventually it should come down. Now what do I think will happen? So actually, before we jump into that, let's go through a few of the stats and financials. So we can see with Lunia, it has a relatively moderate market cap of around about 126 million. I say moderate loosely because if you think about Wikipedia, the valuation is in its billions, so there's huge scope if we compare it in terms of apples with apples. In terms of a unit price, it's very high relative to a project of this size in terms of market cap. And why is that? We can see it's $54.94, and that's because the circulating supply is only 2.3 million with a max supply of only 2.7 million. Now one thing people forget is when they get in these coins of 1 cent or $1. That's what everyone wants to buy. Everyone wants to buy coins that are less than $1 per unit price. However, it's worth notifying or being aware of, at least, of the circulating supply and the max supply, because it's in the billions. Now what does that mean? Does that mean we can get these massive price rises like Bitcoin from $100 to $1,000 overnight? No. So that's one of the things that people forget, and probably try and stay away from projects that tend to be really good and be put off by the unit price. But however, don't be put off by Luna's unit price here. I think it's got huge potential. The supply is so limited, it's only going to increase the price. So that's my little rant over in terms of about the unit price. So what do I think? We can see with Lunia, we've had a nice sort of I don't know what you call this, arc or a cup, and I think we will get another sort of handle or cupping action. Now what's a good sign of a project when it's having a cool down? And it's to keep the majority of the gains, similar to what we see with Bitcoin. When we have a correction, it doesn't usually come back down. It holds at a nice level, 50-day in most cases in terms of simple moving averages, and then it goes on another run. So this is what I am sort of expecting for Lunia here. So we can see we've had, again, I'm going to make these charts a little messy, we've had huge amounts of resistance here. So I reckon this is going to be a point of support possibly. So in terms of my recommendation, purely my recommendation and opinion, not financial advice, is to get in at around about anywhere between 250k sats and 180k sats, because we can see that's where the level of resistance or previous resistance has been, and therefore this could be a potential support for another run. So that's my 2 cents. Currently it's trading, if I can read the chart properly, around about 360k sats, so this is clearly overextended. I think it's gone as high as almost 450k. However, we can see RSI and the simple moving averages are saying it's not really a good buy, it's just a watch for now. So where can you buy this? So currently the majority of the volume is through Binance and Bittrex. As always, there's a few smaller numbers out there in terms of exchanges, but go on CoinMarketCap to see the full list really. So number 7 on my list is Zcoin, or Zcoin as we say in the UK, with a tag of XZC. Now what is Zcoin? It's basically another privacy coin. It sort of claims to keep your transactions private by enabling the Zero Coin protocol. So again, similar to Verge, another privacy coin, another one on my list to watch. And if we dive into the financials before we go and look at the TA, we can see Zcoin or Zcoin, it has a market cap around about 368 million, which sits roughly, I think, around about hovering the 100 in terms of position for market cap. There's a very high unit price of $95, but don't be put off by that. Again, similar to Luna, it's driven by a very, very low circulating supply, which is good for gains in price levels, because there's a very limited supply. It doesn't take much for in terms of increases in price, and that's purely because there's going to be less coins out there in circulation, and therefore less sell walls and buy walls to clear in terms of trying to get the price up. So there's no max supply for Zcoin at the minute. And what have we seen in terms of technical analysis? So we can see there's a nice cup and handle pattern, and as I said with Luna, what we want to see is a nice cool down, but not at sort of previous levels. We can see hopefully hold at a high level and then bounce up in terms of future gains. So this is something that I'm expecting to continue. So if we look at the more recent one, again, this is what I'm expecting each time to hopefully hold at a higher level. So I'm expecting or predicting this level, and the reason why I'm expecting, I think this is roughly the 500 and 400-ish sat level, because we've had a lot of resistance in the past and support, and I suspect this is going to be another point of support when we have the cool down. So let's see what my buy or entry levels is, and yes, around about the 500 and 400k sat levels. I think this will be good. It will be a good healthy sign for Zcoin as well, because it's coming down to a previous almost high and keeping its gain. It's not coming back down to previous lows all the way down here. So I think this is a good sign in terms of price strength confirmation rather. So again, this is my sort of recommendations, and we can see clearly it's I know the lines or the charts are getting a bit messy now, but we can see we're quite extended from the simple moving averages at the minute. So I think the 50-day moving average lines up nicely with these sort of levels, and the 100-day as well. So do your own research, and another one coin to watch. And also just finally, where to buy. You can see Binance, Bittrex and AEX hold the majority of the volume. You can get the full list again on CoinMarketCap. So number 8 on the list is Komodo, or denoted by KMD. Now Komodo is a cryptocurrency project that basically focuses on providing anonymity through zero knowledge proofs and security through a novel delayed proof of work protocol. Now there are a number of key components that Komodo has, and it's very sort of detailed, and I do recommend as always to go to the website, do your own research just to understand how it sort of works. But essentially it's an ecosystem that has a couple of key benefits. You've got the ability to have dApps similar to Ethereum, as well as a few sort of benefits. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because it will probably make this video too long. However, definitely do check out Komodo. It's another coin that's in the top 100 and a decent market cap, as we can see. So we can see currently $850 million, so one of the bigger players in the top 100. Unit price of $8.19, so very low in my opinion, given the circulating supply is only 104 million. It's not in the billions, so I think this is one for definite potential. We can see, looking at the chart, we've had previous highs and almost 100% retracements. So what do I expect for Komodo to happen? So again, we can see it's on a nice downtrend, and what I expect is possibly two things. Ideally, I think what would be good is if we can get traction at the 50k level. So we can see previously there's been a level of support here, so I would expect something similar for Komodo to gather support here. However, unfortunately it sort of broke through and it's come all the way down and come all the way down to the previous lows of June. So unlike what we saw with Zcoin in the previous example and what we're hoping we will get with Luna, with Komodo it didn't actually hold its gains. It's come all the way down. So from a price strength confirmation point of view, that's not great. However, we can see it's mooned really quickly, and this is something that happens quite often. It's similar to actually Litecoin. When I did my analysis, when Litecoin breaks down, it tends to go a bit crazy. So I think Komodo is definitely one to watch, but the key is to get this at the right timing, because we can either have traction here, but I think if we do break that down or break through that, I think definitely is one to keep adding as the price goes down. So my recommended entry points is around about 50k sats. I think we're currently, if we look at the chart, around about the 55k mark. 55k mark. So it's definitely one to watch. I think a bit later. It's not one to get in now, which is a common theme with my coins, because it's based off the assumption that we're going to have a Bitcoin bull run and an altcoin cool down. So that's my 2 cents. I'm ignoring the technical indicator in terms of the simple moving averages. The reason for that is, if you look at it with Komodo, it's a bit all over the place. It doesn't really hold at these levels. Maybe it might have held once or twice, but it's all over the shop really. It's broken through. So I'm using my second tool, almost what I usually use, and that's previous highs and sort of support levels. So hopefully you guys can sort of see and use this as to determine good entry points. So where can you get this? Again, the two main exchanges are Bittrex and Binance, holding most of the volume there. So moving on to number 9, which is BAT, Basic Attention Token. Now, what is Basic Attention Token? It's basically a digital advertising project where it's looking to tackle the two big kids on the block, so basically Facebook and Google, who have essentially a monopoly on advertising. I think both of these guys have roughly about 73% or 75% of the online ad dollars, and what the BAT team want to do is basically cut the middleman out, so that the guys that are actually using their browsers and essentially the internet don't get peed off and use ad blockers. They can actually be incentivized to actually almost like opt in and get paid to watch or give their attention essentially to watch ads. And likewise, the companies that are the publishers, they're basically getting the majority of the revenue directly, rather than getting cut out from a smaller piece of the pie at the minute. So yeah, that's just a quick summary. Again, do further research. It's actually a good project that I'm personally want to get involved in, but however, I'm just waiting for the right moment. And it's I think the thing that sells me the most is the team in general is quite stellar. You've got the guy, I don't know his name off the top of my head, who basically run Mozilla and Firefox. I'm sure you guys have used that before Google Chrome came along. it was the best browser to use. Everyone knows Internet Explorer is pretty rubbish, so Mozilla Firefox, definitely when I was at uni, that was the one I used the most. So so definitely a stellar team, and I think it's got huge potential. It's got a working product. You can actually download the web browser and use it, and because it doesn't have all of this almost like adware and all of this advertising stuff, it basically loads a lot quicker. You can, you know, obviously opt in and all of that stuff, but I think the default is not to have any sort of ads on your screens, and therefore it basically you know, it's a lot more easier and better user experience. So definitely do your research on this one. This is, I think, a really good project. I think the market cap is relatively small for what these guys are trying to do. I think there's huge potential on this project. The market cap is around about 734 million at the minute, a unit price of 33 cents, circulating supply of 1 billion and a max supply of 1.5 billion. Now, what have we seen with BAT in terms of TA? We can see this 7k sat mark has been a level of resistance. We can see it's hit once, almost twice, 3 times, almost coming up 4 times, and again more recently. So it's several times it's been rejected at this level. So I think for me at the minute we can see it's come up again, and I expect another cool down. So if we look at in terms of what the pattern looks like, we can see it's very similar to the cup and handle as we've seen with Linear and Zcoin. So again, I'm hoping for a a price strength confirmation, holding at previous highs, which sort of lines up. If I can get the pen off, if I get my buy levels up, so this lines up nicely around about the 3.5k sat mark, which I think there's a huge amount of support. So I'll be personally looking at adding or opening a position rather at these levels, because hopefully the price will hold and it will go on to new highs and break that psychological barrier of 7k sats. So obviously it could potentially break down and come back down to the December lows. However, I'm hoping that we can hold at these levels, and if we do break down, then I would personally just dollar cost average. I think this one's got huge potential, particularly if there's adoption. If you can get the big boys to build on their sort of platform, then I think it's gonna be huge. Really, there's huge potential for this one. Again, with the TA in terms of the simple moving averages, I'm gonna ignore these because again it's a bit all over the shop. It's held at the start. If you look at from here, August down to 50-day, it's sort of held, and then after October it's broken through and it's never really held anything. So I'm just going to ignore that for now and just use my previous support and resistance levels to determine entry points again. And where can you get BAT? So currently you can get in Huobi, Binance and Bittrex, which hold all three of these hold the majority of the volume. There's a few small exchanges again. CoinMarketCap has all of the exchanges listed. Now, last but not least is Funfair. Now, Funfair is a platform which basically offers a possibility to design and operate blockchain-based games of chance, so i.e. online casinos and online gambling to you and me. So I think at the minute with online gambling, it's huge in the UK in terms of sports betting. Bet365 are absolutely killing it. They're growing year on year. You've got countries like Brazil, India, Bangladesh, emerging markets growing in this space. So I think it's definitely a place where there's going to be future growth and potential. Now, what do the financials look like? We can see with Funfair, again, another coin in the top 100, 607 million market cap in terms of dollars, a decent amount of size, a unit price of only 14 cents, a circulating supply of 4.2 billion and a max supply of around about 11 billion. Now, what do we see from the TA? We can see again a nice cupping action, and then as again similar to a lot of the coins we've seen in this video, I'm hoping for price strength confirmation after a cool down. Now, if I can get my lines up here, we can see where the previous resistance levels are, which is around about the 750 and 550 mark levels, or levels rather, sorry. Now I think this lines up nicely. It would hold a decent amount of the price action. It also would mean you get a nice discount in terms of a reduction in the price. We can see it's gone beyond 1.2k sats. It looks like it's gone as high as almost 1.5k. So I think there's huge potential there. It's just a case of waiting and getting the discount when we have a cooldown in altcoins. We can see again with the simple moving average lines, we're quite extended from these lines. The candles are quite far away, and this basically shows that it needs a cooldown. It's not a good entry point, and I think the 50-day and the 100-day lines up nicely with these levels. So again, looking nicely if we continue this cooldown, and one to watch in terms of entry. So I'm going to end it there, guys. I know this video is getting rather long, so hopefully by splitting it in two, it's been rather useful. As always, keep the comments, likes and subscriptions coming, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.